Hey, I'm Tomo, welcome back to the north, and today I'm excited to finally be reviewing the Opeongo Aerial A1, a unique slackline inspired suspended shelter. This is a consumer review. I do own this product. After a full year of field testing, I feel I'm ready to share my honest thoughts on what I consider one of my most versatile bits of kit. So here we go. On the official website, Opeongo make it known that this shelter is lightweight, extremely comfortable and easy to set up. Let's see how this product lives up to these bold claims, but first let's start with the stats. This is a one-person suspended shelter with a package size of 67 by 13 centimeters and a weight of 2.7 kilos. It has a floor dimension of 203 by 69 centimeters. The floor itself is made from 210 denier ripstop nylon and a polyurethane waterproof rating of 4,000 millimeters. My fully inflated Thermarest foam pad fits perfectly in the footprint, a good use of space. The fly is available in colours blaze orange and obsidian grey. It's made from 40 denier nylon with a polyurethane waterproof rating of 2,500 millimeters. The tent body is generously ventilated with mesh on all sides. Two doors on both sides can be fully unzipped to allow easy access to the inside. At the head and the foot of the tent are two medium-sized pockets, as well as a useful sky pocket. All the components that comprise of the tent are excellent. The poles are DAC aluminium press fit. The zippers are YKK, and the Austrian-made buckles have a minimum brake strength of around 1.5 ton. Let's test the Aerial A1's tree suspension setup. Opeongo recommends choosing trees with a diameter greater than 8 centimeters with a spacing of 3 to 4.5 meters. So let's go find a decent pair of trees. Inside the pack we have the tent body, the fly, webbing straps, poles, pegs and guy lines. The first step is to wrap the webbing around the trees. This orange plus is to guide you and should be facing the opposite tree for correct setup. The tent body has buckles on each corner. The webbing goes through the buckles on the static end, where the buckles are stacked on top of each other. The process is repeated on the other side, but this time the webbing goes through the buckle on the purchase end and into this roller cam. At this point you can apply some tension. I find trying to get a level surface takes some playing around with, but once you've got it just right, you can thread the webbing through the second buckle on the purchase end and pull it to lock into position. So there you go, a roughly level surface. Setup takes some time. It was a head scratcher for me at first, but Opeongo have made some excellent tutorial videos which explain the process and give some essential tips also. Anyway, next we open up and assemble the poles, and the rest of the pole goes into these eyelets on the ends. Like so. The fly corners thread through the buckles and attach by hook to a small ring on the end. The guy lines, half nylon, half elastic, pull out the sides connected by a ball that goes through a loop on the fly door. Black to black, orange to orange. The elasticated guy line is designed to compensate for the slight bounce and sway the tent body has when occupied. So how does it compare to traditional hammock camping? Well, since the webbing straps around the tree, it creates 2 connection points instead of 1. 4 connection points in total that the tent hangs onto stops it from rotating like a hammock would. This also creates a stable and flat sleeping surface, making exit and entry easier and in my opinion more comfortable. I've been a traditional hammock camper for some time, and a big disadvantage of hammock camping is the body heat loss from underneath. The Aerial A1 is no exception. Opeongo have however designed an underquilt to fit the Aerial A1's tent body to combat this. When combined with a decent foam pad and sleeping bag, the cold is not an issue for me. Opeongo also created a gear hammock for underneath the tent body, which is useful for keeping the gear dry and within arm's reach. One issue I've had is specific to tall people. I'm a tall guy at 6'2". When I'm fully stretched out, my feet are obstructed by the slope wall, which does feel uncomfortable, and it forces me into a curled up position. But you know, this can be forgiven because overall this is a superbly made product. Now, the reason I chose to invest in the Aerial A1 is for its unique suspension system. It gives me options to choose how I want to set up, and oftentimes when I'm on the road touring, the perfect location is not always going to be available. When there are a lack of trees, I can set it up as a ground tent. When I'm by the river, which I often am, I want to guarantee that me and my gear will stay dry, so I set it up suspended. It's this versatility along with the quality build that makes the Aerial A1 special. Going back to the lightweight claim, what's a fair comparison? I mean, this is a hybrid shelter with a lot of chunky metal components. Do I compare it to a one-man tent? In that case, a one-man version of my MSR ground tent would be 540 grams lighter. Look, a lot of thought has gone into this design and the choice of components of this shelter. The guys at Opeongo, they've done an incredible job at getting the weight down to what it is. You know, considering that this shelter needs to deal with a lot of forces from the suspension system and take the weight of you and your gear at the same time. I'm really impressed. You really do feel the quality and the lightweight claim. It can only be fairly measured by comparing it to similar suspended shelter systems, so Opeongo, I'll let you have that one. At the time of this video's posting, you can buy the Aerial A1 for 499 Canadian dollars on the Opeongo website. The underquilt is $149 and the gear hammock $29. For future versions, I'd love to see an olive green or camouflage design fly for those who wish to remain unseen, me, and blended into the natural surroundings. My biggest request would be a longer tent body or tent wall redesign to make it possible for taller campers to stretch out comfortably and unobstructed. To summarise, when you buy the Aerial A1, you're buying a rather pricey but unique and excellently designed shelter with top quality components. The setup can be a little fiddly, but I enjoy the learning process. It's fun. It'll keep you safe and dry in the wet weather, and having the suspension system as well as the ground setup to play around with gives you so many options to pick a safe and comfortable location. As a bike packer, wild camper and paddleboard tourer, this shelter ticks so many boxes for me, and I'm still feeling the buzz of excitement using this shelter a year down the line. So what do you think of the Aerial A1? Let me know in the comment section. Hit a thumbs up if you like this review. Subscribing really helps the channel out.